I'm a part of Lebe Stark. You know what time it is, guys. It is time to get stronger. Time to get stronger. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Grüezi miteinander, Gregory for Lebe Stark here. Guys, another one of these. Welcome to the Lebe Stark Kettlebells podcast. I'm so happy that you guys are joining. We have a lot of stuff to cover. We get some awesome feedback, awesome comments, awesome inputs from you guys, and I think it is so valuable to share these insights with you, to give you my perspective, my point of view. And at the same time, you guys can chime in, let me know what your thoughts are, because I believe this is the power of the community, the power of folks who come together, a small tribe that enjoys and shares the same passion of kettlebells. And we can share with each other what some people, one pair of eyes doesn't see everything. So that's why I believe in the power of the community, and we're growing, we're going strong. We're on the brink of 10,000 subscribers, guys. Maybe we make it. It's the road to 10K, guys. Maybe we will make it until the end of 2020. That would be so awesome. I think it's 250 subs are needed to reach that milestone of 10,000 subscribers, and we're looking incredibly forward to this. Now, guys, before we get started, there's a small story, just a small experience that I want to share with you, because it's been on my chest, it's been on my heart, and I think maybe somebody needs to hear this. Now, when we look at the current situation, when we look at the world today, it looks like it's burning, especially when you consume the news and the media all day, which I don't recommend. You think that the world is going nuts, the world is going crazy, and it's burning. And this COVID situation, it looks like things don't get better. It looks crazy, it looks awful. And at the same time, you always hear these mantras, these statements, these sayings, think positive, stay positive. And sometimes, when you look at reality, sometimes reality hits you in the face like a ton of bricks. So my comment on the situation, why am I able, or why am I trying to stay strong and keep not go insane, not go crazy, not trust all the news, trust all the experts, and trust all that stuff? Why do I stay grinding? Why do I stay hustling? Why do I stay motivated? Why do I think that it's still worth to pursue whatever you think is worth pursuing? I believe we are a threefold being. I believe we are, first of all, the body, and that's what you guys are probably most focused on when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and support us on the road to 10K. And this is one entity that you can make stronger, but it's fragile. It's not something that'll last forever. This life is not meant to be outlived. Then the second entity that we have is the mind, or the soul. The soul is where I think emotions, mind, and knowledge, and all the things that we consume, all the cognitive stuff is happening, and even the emotional stuff as well. And then the third part is the spirit being. And being connected through the faith is something that I want to mention just briefly, because I believe, first of all, when you look at the crisis nowadays, when you look at this, how crazy the world is becoming and how it looks like it's burning, and there's one thing that you can focus on, and that is your body. You'll make your body stronger. At the same time, your body can get sick, your body can contract any disease or whatever, or a virus like we're seeing today. So it's not an entity that you can put your faith and trust in 100%. You can work on it, but I don't think it's something that you can trust 100%. Then the second entity, like we've mentioned, the soul, is something that you cannot trust 100%, because look at the experts. Look at our finite minds. When our finite minds try to understand something, We always have point A and point B. We always have perspective A and perspective B. So when you look at the world, look at the crisis, you have experts disagreeing with each other. So if you put your faith in the finite mind of the human being, then it's probably tricky as well. So the third component is, I believe that's the reason why we were created this way. The third component is your faith and your spirit. And I, as a believer in God, as a Christian, as a believer in Christ, I believe the faith is what keeps my mind sane. I can rest my worries on Him. Why do I do this? And why do I think it's important right now? And why do I think I have to mention it? I don't know why I have to mention it. I just had it on my chest, but I think it's the reason why I keep going. And if you have these two entities that are fallible, the third one is not. So I know for a fact that I believe in that thinking and that philosophy, that God has His hands on a thermostat, that God is in control, God is omniscient and omnipotent, and this is what gives me peace. And the Bible even talks about it. It says that the peace that you get from God is not something that men can give you. And I just want to mention this briefly. When you look at the media, the world is crashing and burning, and I think at the same time they're exaggerating a little bit, and at the same time it's always good when you can put your trust in something that is higher than you, higher than your passion, higher than anything you've ever experienced before. And maybe it's just the time of the year where you can ask yourself, hey, what's it all about with Christmas, and why maybe I can focus a little more on my faith side. Just some food for thought, guys. And now let's jump into the action. We have so much stuff to cover. Welcome to another Kettlebell Q&A. Don't forget, guys, I've created this format, and I found out that it became a podcast because I gather so much stuff during the week, especially now that the channel is growing. We get so much feedback, so much inputs on all channels, that this became a podcast format. And at the same time, I want you guys to ask questions. There is a designated area for the questions that I want to answer to you. And maybe I will answer the questions along the way, but shoot them off in the live chat, and I will do my best to answer your questions concerning kettlebells, fitness, nutrition, and at the same time, and everything at once. So welcome to another Kettlebell Q&A. Don't forget, guys, you can join the Kettlebell Club. If this stuff that we are doing right now, it's not only worth your time, but it's also worth your money, then you can join the Kettlebell Club. The Kettlebell Club is such an awesome community. It's the folks who go a step further. You can join the club. It costs you $5.95 per month, and what you get is a small LS logo next to your name. So that means whenever you comment something, people see that you belong to the tribe. Isn't that awesome? And it's a small community knowing that you belong to the Lebe Kettlebell Club. Isn't that awesome? Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you're into kettlebells, because listen, this is why I'm doing this. I have such a huge passion for the kettlebell. Hence, I can talk about it all day, every day. Hence, I'm seeing so many changes in our studio and in our gym as well. I kind of come to the point, I've reached a point where I feel like we don't need anything else but kettlebells. We want to drill down and focus our niche 100%. So there's some stuff that I'm gonna sell, some stuff that I won't need anymore. Not that the stuff that I'm selling is ineffective, but I want to strengthen our niche and put my faith 100% in that awesome training equipment that I believe is the hey, somebody just subscribed to the channel. Here, listen to headphones. Got shocked for a second. Hey, what am I saying? I'm hearing myself double. So hey, thank you for joining the hey, another one. What's going on, guys? Are you crazy? You're subscribing like crazy? Wow, awesome. So I believe it's so powerful. The kettlebell is such a powerful tool, and please God, what's going on? So many folks are subscribing. I can't even continue my podcast, guys. What's going on? Now, what I wanted to say is I've prepared a video, guys, that I want to mention right here, right now. It's an 11-minute video. I've invested about 3 or 4 days of work into this video. It's a little, it's not a documentary, but it takes you from the old way, the strength training, barbells, dumbbells, typical gym way, which is not bad, and it's effective, it's working. But I believe there's a new way, and 2020 sparked this revolution, this fitness revolution. When gyms have to close, what are you going to do? So people jumped on kettlebells, and now you see so many kettlebell workouts online and everywhere, on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere. So now we're realizing, wow, the kettlebell is such an awesome tool, and this video is dedicated to extrapolating the awesomeness of the kettlebell and the new way. So I really want to highlight this video. I just finished it. I'm going to upload it to the channel. We're going to release it this week. It's going to be awesome, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just I'm burning for that stuff. I'm burning for it. Now, like I mentioned before, Q&As, whenever you want to ask a question, ask it, shoot it in the live chat, and let me know if I can help you. I'm here to help you, and I'm here to support you whenever you are in need when it comes to kettlebell and fitness questions. And now, before we jump into the comments, guys, a little word from our sponsor. Stravo, my name is of no importance to you. Just know this. I sponsored today's video of Lebe. In the back, you see my friend Igor. We are both hunting for good kettlebell channels. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Lebe YouTube channel. Or else, comrade, we can't consider you to be a true student of the art of kettlebell training. You heard what he said, guys. Like and subscribe. So let's jump into it. This was one of the questions that we got recently on one of our videos, and maybe some of you out there are interested in what we are actually doing. I'm a full-time personal trainer, and I started 4 years ago with our studio, and I started in the gym actually. And then I've built my own studio, and now we're seeing it comes full circle. I'm seeing the passion of the kettlebell, this niche that we're having, drilling down into the niche. We're now seeing our audience, the people that we want to cater to, and we help people get more proficient with the kettlebell and helping them lose weight and making better decisions when it comes to nutrition. This is our stuff, and this is what we're working hard to become better at. So we do personal coaching. He said, this person said, I can't read your website, but it seems to indicate that you might. The website is in German. We started the YouTube channel in German, and now we see that the English community is responsible for rapid growth. So we will continue down this path. We always listen to the market, we listen to feedback, we listen to inputs, and we think long term. So now we've realized that YouTube is its own thing now. Our YouTube channel is its own thing. It belongs to Lebe. It's the same thing when you join us, but when you join us in the studio, but actually it's two different entities but under the same umbrella. And we do personal coaching. So we do even personal coaching online. And we do online coaching as well. And we also see in that area, in that regard, guys, you are able, listen, this is an important message. You are able to reach your goals with online coaching. With the more intense version that we offer online coaching where you join into a group, and then we connect you via Zoom, and then we, first of all, and this is what Angel is responsible for, the online coaching. The first thing that you do is you take a look at the nutrition. You do some habit coaching when it comes to nutrition, then you do the workout, and we see awesome results with people in online coaching, and it's not as expensive. And what I'm trying to say is, it's not about the online coaching service that we offer. What it's about is, if you want to change, and if you see that there's power in change, and if you think it is also worth some of your money, because you have to give a little sacrifice, and that's a part of your financial investment, investing into your body, investing into yourself, and maybe saving your money for this and not spending it somewhere else, saving it for yourself. And this is the commitment, and this is maybe the sacrifice that you're giving, but we're seeing it happen all day, every day. You don't have to invest a lot of money. We see folks who invest more money because it's more worth to them and they see more rapid results. And at the same time, it is possible to really reach and be successful with online coaching if you're working with a valuable and with strong coaches, because we see this. We see folks having such great success with the kettlebell in the comfort of their own home. And this is why we see the ultimate power of this Russian tool. It's just crazy. Now, the second question was, what's the reason for doing the swing just that short? And this question was asked on one of our live workouts. I think it was the live workout from yesterday. And just that you know, guys, if you just tuned in, we're streaming almost every day. We will be streaming tomorrow, and we will be streaming on, not on Christmas, but we will be streaming continuously after a few days off. And we're following these lockdown sessions where we stream almost every night. And you can join us for a workout, and it's 30 minutes of craziness. We always love these live workouts when people join us, and the Kettlebell Club is united and is doing its thing. It's just awesome stuff. So now the question, why was I doing maybe the swing just that short? Maybe if I can clarify it, I think what this person is asking is, why are you doing the swing at this low altitude? Normally you see people have different opinions on the swing. I think the sweet spot for the altitude, how high has the swing has to go, I don't think you have to go above shoulder level, because then you're almost going into a snatch. I would say between your stomach and between your chest, right up here will probably be the best altitude for the swing. And in that workout, which I'm going to show you in a second, I reduced the altitude. I'm going to explain it to you in a second. Let's check out the video. Let's check out the workout. And it's always awesome when I have to watch ads on my own videos. Now let's check out what I was doing. We don't need sound for this. So here we go. Now, as you can see, let's open this up for real so you can see it full screen. Now, why am I swinging this low? This, I would qualify this as a so-called low swing. If you look at Angie, she's going a little bit higher, even though Angie's probably also a little tired, because this is round 4, the final round. So here's where we have to crank up some additional energy, and we're already a little bit tired, but we have to go all in because we want to, not all in, but we just want to make it through the workout. And this is my idea, guys. Before we dive into the reason why I'm using a low version of the swing, or a so-called low swing, my idea when it comes to these workout sessions is always the same. We have 6 minutes of work. We always work for time. We do 3 exercises, 2 minutes per exercise, unbroken. This equals 6 minutes of work with 1 minute of rest after these 6 minutes. Why are we doing this? I believe this for time method, or this competition method, is the most valuable because it's so easy. You don't have to count. You don't have to focus on anything but your technique. You can become more proficient and better and improve your technique without thinking about reps, without thinking about what do I have to do next. And even this small selection of exercises, it's simple and it's easy. And we believe in the power of simple stuff. And so my idea is always, once I pick up the kettlebell, I don't want to put it down for those 6 minutes unless we do exercises where you have to put the kettlebell down, for example, deadlifts or what have you. So the idea is to make it, especially with this exercise selection that we chose. This is a swing. We're using a swing. The second exercise is a clean and jerk. And the third exercise is a snatch. So it's all ballistics. And the kettlebell is always, we always say the kettlebell is always in the air, and you have to manage it and control it. It only rests once maybe or a few times when you go into the clean and the rack rest position, and it rests in the overhead top fixation when it comes to the snatch. These are the only rest positions that you have. When we look at these three exercises, it means that you're working continuously. So my idea is to work continuously without having to put the kettlebell down, especially when we do the ballistics. So if I know I want to keep working for 6 minutes, then I have to manage my pace. So we call it pacing. I use my breath as my pace. It's like a metronome where I'm going so I know what kind of tempo that I have to go. And I always want to be able to manage the workout without putting it down or without burning myself. So now let's answer this question. Why am I using a so-called low swing? I'm using a low swing because, drum roll, because it's heavy weight. That's it. It's a heavy weight. It's a 28 kilo. So I could go higher. I could use more force from my hips and maybe a little bit of a pull when it comes to this heavy weight to get it up to this perfect chest level between stomach and chest. I could do it, but I know my body and I know my energy reserves. I know that I would probably burn myself, and this would lead to the fact that I would have to put the kettlebell either down, or I would have to rest in the clean and jerk or in the snatch even longer than usual. So you see, I'm foreseeing. I know my body. I know how I work with the weights. So I'm anticipating. So that's the reason why it is a low swing. If we jump back to the 24, you can see the swing is higher. So here it's that sweet spot. It's between stomach and chest. You can go a little higher if you want to. Angie's going a bit higher because now she's rocking with the 12 kilo and I'm rocking with the 24. So, and that's round number 1. Yeah. So it always depends on what weight you're using. And the higher the kettlebell goes, the harder it is in the backswing, and you get a much more stretch. You get a stronger stretch reflex, and at the same time, you use more force, and it costs you more energy. So you see all these different aspects that play a role when it comes to training, and when it comes to how do I manage the workout? How do I manage my energy capacity intra workout, during the workout? So let's jump into this comment. This is a very interesting comment that I want to extrapolate. And guys, if you have any comments to what I'm saying, please shoot it off in the chat when we're going to look at it in the Q&A session. Now, this guy said, I am in my 40s. I work out for hours somehow almost every day. I came late to fitness about 5 years ago. Now, it's interesting to think that you can come late to fitness. I understand his perspective, and at the same time, I would say, with his permission, I would say, hey, if I can say something to you, if I'm allowed, you're never too late to find fitness or to start working out. It's never too late. It's always a good place to start. There's always a good day to start working out because you're choosing all these awesome benefits. And one of our clients, he's a doctor. He said, from experience, he doesn't advocate it. He doesn't advocate what I'm saying right now. He's just saying from experience, you could, because the human body is so awesome and the human body is so robust and is capable of doing so many things. You could go into the wrong direction for 50 years. You eat junk food, be sedentary, lead a sedentary lifestyle, don't do anything, consume some stuff. And most people can go wrong for 5 decades and then switch their life, turn life completely around, and you can restore your body to almost 100%. And he said, this is so awesome about the human body, the adaptability and the robustness. And of course, a lot of factors come into play. It's genetics, and how crazy are you going, and how Are you going balls to the walls with your body all day? Are you destroying it to its utmost capacity that, normal people wouldn't survive for 5 years? So many factors come into play, but you see what I'm saying. So coming late to fitness, you're never too late to start, my friends. I do it because my government permanently disabled me with severe chronic pain that, come to find out, I can vastly minimize with strength training and very frequent movement. And this is something that plagues me. This is something that sometimes even breaks my heart. The system tells you, hey, listen, you have back pain, use some cream and take this medication. Doesn't go away? Okay, you're disabled. Or you will suffer from chronic pain forever in your life. And sometimes it's not even, before the government steps in, it's the health officials, the doctors, the therapists. And these folks should, in my opinion, tell you that through training and moving, you can decrease and almost eliminate pain, especially in the lower back. Because this area is so prone to pain because we sit all day and we have this hunched position. And all these factors come into play and make it so bad for our lower back. And of course, we stopped moving. The physical activity recommendation went down from 2.5 hours per week to about 1 hour, I think some statistics said. So isn't that crazy? We stopped moving, but now we have to tell people start moving again, and you can minimize this pain. And there's even research that says at least subjectively speaking, people are saying that strength training reduces back pain in their conscious understanding. And at the same time, the kettlebell is even stronger than just typical strength training or typical strength equipment, because doing the swing will strengthen those muscles who are mostly responsible or who play a huge role in back pain, and that is your glutes. So the swing is one of the best medications against back pain. And then he says, I keep hearing people making these comments about how middle age means you have to slow down. And we hear this as well. The only thing I notice is that recovery from heavy volume takes longer. So you need to be extremely careful designing a program. He talks like a coach. It's 100%. That's what it is. Because your body, when it gets older, you can still work hard with it. The only factor that you have to dial in is maybe you have to just work a little smarter. Step down from the no pain, no gain. Maybe the grace period is over for completely wrong technique. Maybe you have to improve your technique. Maybe you spend a little money with a coach, or maybe you just, you get better at programming your workouts. And maybe you have to understand, okay, now, and this ties in, somebody asked me on our workout, that was Saturday, right? It was Saturday, I used the 16 kilo. And there's something that I said recently in a live podcast that I want to mention again, is always the same thing. Never lose respect from the weights you have mastered. It doesn't matter if it is an 8 kilo, a 12 kilo, or a 16 kilo and you've mastered it. Never lose respect, because it only takes 1 second for you to injure yourself if you're not focused, especially if you're not warmed up. So I did the workout with the 16 kilo, and why did I do it? It's not that I couldn't have used, with this workout schedule that we had, with this exercise selection that we had on Saturday, it's not that I wasn't able and that I wasn't thinking to choose a 20 or a 24. The thing was, I chose the 16 because I knew my body needs a little bit more recovery if we work out 5 times per week with this heavy volume, and 30 minutes of kettlebell work, continuously working the way we do it for time, is heavy volume. Is this heavy stuff. This volume takes time to regenerate, and I'm 36 years of age, so I have to take care of my body. So I knew if we go in with the Saturday workout, I want to slow down in advance, because Monday will show up and we will be streaming again, and I will be picking up a 24 and a 28. And this is working smart, thinking ahead, thinking long term, thinking what you want to do during the week. And it's so awesome. It's such a great comment. I don't know if I'm just lucky or if these people just have not figured out age should modify your programming and not really volume. Man, awesome. Can't add anything to this. Listen to this saying. You should modify your programming and not really your volume. Wow. I don't know the answer to this, but it is an issue. I think it is not adequately addressed. I think people repeat common wisdom that is wrong and never experiment to find out for themselves at least how their bodies handle this. I agree 100%. And maybe common wisdom is, we had one client. He said, when I was younger, I was 15 kilos lighter, and now that I'm older, I've gained weight. I think this is just the plight of aging, and growing older, this just happens. No, this not just happens. So we started figuring out. I said, listen, when you were younger, you played soccer, right? Yeah. So you stopped playing soccer what? 5 years ago? He said, yeah, about 5 years ago. Okay. So you were active. You were more active then. Yeah. You took more walks because probably back then you didn't have a car all day. Oh, yeah, I didn't have a car. Well, I had one, but I had a shorter distance to my workplace, so I was walking. Oh, okay. And I used to bike more frequently. Okay. And then we found out, hey, it's an easy, people always look for rocket science, but it's not. It was an easy explanation. Hey, you stopped playing soccer, so you stopped burning those calories. At the same time, you stopped walking because you had another workplace. At the same time, you found, you had a relationship that consumed more time, so you didn't have more focus on sports and activities and all this stuff. And the person that you have a relationship with is not into sports as well. So you stopped doing what you loved because he was hurt. I think he hurt himself. He injured himself. And then the factor of nutrition comes into play. And if you are younger, of course, and you move more, we can always say that metabolism, and this is always a quick or a fast metabolism. If you have a very fast metabolism or you take stuff that increases your metabolism, you probably end up in a hospital, because having a fast metabolism or increasing it means you increase your heart rate, you increase the function of your hormones and function of your of other organs, of your breathing. And people are dying from this. I read a story from a young lady who, it's a really sad story. She chose some diet pills that elevated her metabolism, and she died because she burned up inside. Is it worth some extra calories? Of course it is not. So in that case, we found out, okay, hey, this has nothing to do with your age. This has to do with moving less and eating more. And people always believe, they always say this, when you get old, you have to watch out. Of course, you always have to watch out. And maybe the grace period, like I said, is over. You have to watch a little bit more what you're doing now. You have to use some smart programming, like he mentioned. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that you have to stop everything. And sometimes, and I don't want to go overboard with this because people throw around this word so many times, excuses. But sometimes it may be an excuse to say, okay, well, I'm 40 now, so guess I'm done. Now, the next question says, finally, someone who gives some advice in how to prepare for the IKFF test. I've been searching for this for more than 2 years. Many thanks. However, besides the snatches, can you give us more details in your training plan for the test? Many thanks in advance. Now, I've prepared for the IKFF test. It was 100 swings. It was 32 clean and presses. It was 60 snatches with one arm switch in the clean and press and the snatch, and it was 30 goblet squat, and then you have to rest in a squat rest position for a minute, I think it was. And I've prepared easily. I've started with the 4-time method, and I mentioned in that video, I mentioned how I prepared for the snatch, but you can use the same principle for the clean and jerk or the swings. If you are able to manage, let's say like 1 minute of swings, and then your lower back gives out and it burns and you have to stop. Then you have to probably ask yourself 2 questions. Is it because of the lack of my fitness? Because I have to grow stronger? My body's not yet able to handle this level of fitness that is demanded? Or am I lacking technique? So if you find the answer, then you can work on either one. If you work on your technique, I highly advise you to watch. If you have access to a coach, invest some money to get better with your technique. If you don't have money or you don't have a coach around you, check out some awesome stuff. Subscribe to this channel and check out some other great kettlebell YouTubers who can really teach you and talk about the very important aspects of the technique. And then when it comes to the fitness, this is easy to do. Just wait. Start with 1 minute. And then the next day or 2 days later, you go up to 1 minute and 15 seconds. Then you go up to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then you go up to 1 minute and 35 seconds. Take those jumps that you're able to handle, even if it's just 5 seconds more. Because this small increase is what's needed for your body to adapt. And you can do it with the clean and jerk. You start, okay, I'm able to handle, like when you go for reps, you can do this for reps as well. Okay, I'm able to handle 4 clean and jerks with one side, then I have to put it down. Put it down. Put it down. Do 5, put it down. Then do the other side, do 5, put it down. So the next time you go back at it, you say, okay, now I'm doing 6. You do 6, put it down. You do 6, put it down. And this is how you work your way up. And if you feel that you're fit, you're strong, but you're still not, you will hit plateaus. You will always hit plateaus when you're working on your technique. And sometimes these plateaus are necessary, I believe. This is just my opinion, because your cerebellum and your brain is working to incorporate the information to really drill it down into your habits, into your habitual movement, so you don't have to think about it anymore. And these plateaus are, it's like learning a language. There are plateaus. You will hit them, and then maybe even sometimes you will go down, your technique will worsen, and then all of a sudden there's a jump. And we see this even with our clients. I just had a coaching session today with one of our clients, and I saw her snatches. I think it's about 1 or 2 months ago when the last time I saw her do some snatches. And today we did some snatches, and her snatches are awesome. I saw the jump in the technique. It was just crazy. So take your time, and once you realize that it's not about the fitness, it's about the technique, go watch some videos and try to implement it into your routine and go step by step. And this is how you work your way up to these numbers. So this question: when you are in your maximum back swing finger grip, I see you slightly twist your torso so your left shoulder twists. Is that part of the routine? Now he's talking about the snatch. When you go down, I talked about this in the last podcast, in the last podcast, so I'm not going to take too much time on this. Now the idea is the following: when you drop the kettlebell into the amortization phase, you drop it down, right? You follow a straight line normally. So what I started implementing is not using, and I saw this with our client today as well. She's using a more of a diagonal path. So not going down in a straight line, but using a more diagonal path to drop the kettlebell. And I saw this technique from Ivan Denisov, and I tried to incorporate it. I tried it out, and come to find out, this technique really fits my style and really fits my workout and fits the way I train and the way I snatch. Now, this is part of my routine. Does that mean that it has to be part of your routine? No, it doesn't have to be. And this is something that we always mention and that we always want to say, and we hammer this point home. Even if you have all the information, you have all the knowledge, you have become proficient with your lifting, your style will probably look different than mine, and that's totally fine. So the awesome thing about this twisting is you can relax. I feel it. I can relax a little more, and it's even so hard to explain. I think maybe when I drop it, I lean back a little more, and this diagonal route, this trajectory that is more diagonal that the kettlebell is taking once I go into the amortization, to the drop phase, I think it is just easier for me to handle. So that's the reason why I'm doing it. Gregory, I feel you. I was doing my workout earlier, one of your previous videos, and I just wasn't feeling, this comes back to what we were saying earlier, and just wasn't feeling 100%, so I dropped to a 16 kilo for most of it. Now I just watched this video, and I see you did the same. In these time-based workouts that you prefer, do you try and get more reps in when you use a lower weight? It's a very good question. And you see what he's saying? He said, I just wasn't feeling it 100%. So that's another reason. It's actually two reasons when you can drop the weight and never lose respect from it. It's either you work in advance and you say, okay, in 2 days, I'm going to go with a heavier one. Or you're like, okay, I don't feel 100%. And I've felt both scenarios. Like I was sick 2 weeks ago. I mentioned this in the last podcast as well. I was sick 2 weeks ago and I didn't feel 100%. So I chose the 16 kilo and it felt heavy. It felt like it's 24. And the second question, or the question that he actually asking is, do you try and get more reps in when you lose a lower weight? This is actually a training method. And we call it the interval method that you can use. And this is something that you can, it depends, and it's context. But what you can do with the interval method is, for example, if you don't have a heavier kettlebell, let's say you've mastered the 12, and you don't have a heavier kettlebell, and you think, okay, but, you know, I still want to go with the 12, but it feels a little bit more easy. So what can I do? You can choose the interval method. And this is where the RPM comes in, so the reps per minute. So what you do is you get for more reps when you use the lower weight. So that means you usually do, let's say, like a clean and jerk with a 12 kilogram. And you usually do, let's say, like 10 or 12 reps per minute. And the idea is, okay, now I'm ramping up to 13 or 14 reps per minute with a safe technique. Same with the snatch. You were up to 15, 18 reps per minute, and you say, okay, now I'm aiming for 20, 21. And then you go faster, and this interval method is very, very taxing. And so I don't prefer to get more reps in when I'm lowering the weight because, like I said, I'm thinking in advance. But sometimes I maybe do. Sometimes I feel like, hey, I want to go a little faster. And sometimes you even see this in my workout when I'm working out with the 20 or the 24, which is now my evergreen weights. And then sometimes I see it's the last 10 seconds, so now let's crank out some more reps. And I'm focusing in, I'm honing in on this idea because I start working. I know I have 2 minutes of work, 1 minute with the left side, 1 minute with the right side when we do our YouTube workouts. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm using a pace that allows me to go all in the final 20 seconds. Do you think the ONNIT Primal Kettlebell is a poor design because of the protruding design face? Now, somebody answered this question. It's not a question. It's somebody just had a great input that I think is worth mentioning. And he said, these ONNIT kettlebells are a great piece of art. However, once you advance with your training, it's not very useful. I have to mention though, I see kettlebell legends, Russian kettlebell legends, for example, Rudnev, Sergey, right? Sergey Rudnev, he's using these ONNIT kettlebells. And I'm thinking, really? Cleans and then switching the kettlebell, and then you have the protruding design, you know, when the face looks out and it boom bumps in your forearm and in your shoulder. So my advice would be, I want to get some ONNIT kettlebells. I really want to buy some, but I think they're more valuable for art. Because his comment went a little further, he said, well, the only thing that you can do then is swings or just some grinding lifts, because I want to show you something. Where is it? Wait, I have to show this one to you first. Here it is. I want to show you something. As you can see here, I've switched the kettlebell from my right side to my left side. It's a thumbnail of one of our videos where we teach you faster transitions. Now, as you can see, you see the original Russian kettlebell logo, right? That is facing towards you in the left image. In the right image, this logo is facing towards my arm. So this probably answers the question. If a kettlebell with a protruding face, even though it looks cool, the design looks really cool, it looks so awesome. The question is if it's cool to work out. And I think somebody already said it, that he has some of these ONNIT kettlebells at home, and he said, I can't do cleans anymore with them because they don't feel right. And they even sometimes maybe hurt. So you see, I'm switching. The logo now is facing my side. And so I have to think about, okay, if I'm using a special designed kettlebell that is not round, I always have to make sure that when I'm doing a transition that the side that has the design on it doesn't face my arm or my forearm, and that's just not worth it. That's not worth. I don't think sacrificing my workout regimen is worth having an awesome looking kettlebell. I'm new to kettlebell training. I keep seeing videos and articles on kettlebell training saying that kettlebell training is great if you have 10 minutes or full body workout in only 12 minutes. Is it better to do short, tough workouts or longer 20 minutes plus workouts? I'm trying to lose body fat since I'm overweight. Any feedback will be appreciated. Now, is it better to do short and tough workouts? You know, on our YouTube channel, we're now streaming 30 minutes of kettlebell training, which are very intense. If you are starting out, I would recommend do 5 to 10 minutes of work with the kettlebell that is not tough on you. You just want to get used to the kettlebell, want to get used to the ballistics, want to get used to a good technique, and just want to get used to the 4-time method. Now, short workouts, I always prefer short workouts. Because if you work out often, you don't want to hang out in the gym too long, or you don't want to work out too long because you probably have other priorities and other responsibilities in your life. So you maybe don't want to go above 15 or 20. But you can go above 20 or 30 like we do in our YouTube workouts, and I think they're still condensed. However, beginners should always be very cautious and maybe just do 2 or 3 rounds or take longer breaks, especially when they follow our workout routines. And at the same time, I want to mention that it's always good to mix it up. Maybe like I'm planning my workouts. I'm having a shorter workout on Monday, usually, not when I'm in streaming mode, not when we're in YouTube streaming mode, in lockdown mode. When I'm in normal mode, I usually choose Monday, the heavy one. The heavy workout, the toughest workout that lasts about 14 minutes, and it's the IKFF Master Workout. So the Master Workout is the IKFF 1 test with the 24 kilo, unbroken. And that takes me about 12 to 14 minutes. And sometimes I even want to go above and beyond, and I'm like, okay, let's do this workout as fast as possible. And I think I've managed to bring it down to 12 minutes. And then on Tuesday, I'm using a 10-minute. Because I'm feeling the effects of those 12 minutes. My whole body's responding to it the next day. Then on Wednesday, I'm taking a break, doing some black rolling, taking a day off. And then on Thursday, I'm going with doubles. And then I'm at, I think it's 25 minutes of work. And then on Friday, I started doing some competition sets where I'm doing, for example, 10 minutes of snatches. And then on Saturday, we're back at the 30-minute mark with the workouts. But you have to imagine I'm a coach and I love the kettlebell. I love the passion. I want to be more proficient in my technique, and I think I can handle it with the fitness that I have. So beginners should always break it down to maybe 1 or 2, maximum of 3 workouts per week, and then focus on the technique first. Because I think this was his name. I can't remember the name right now, but we had a conversation where he said, I want to, form is better than weights. Hey man, I love your videos. Been kettlebelling for 3 months and I never have played rugby with such strength, explosiveness and stamina before. You offer great value in your videos and I'm confident it will pay off. Just be patient and consistent and your channel will grow. Big time, I'm sure. Cheers from Uruguay. Thank you so much for the love. And you see this, strength, explosiveness, stamina, the kettlebell supports you in all these different aspects, and this is why we love it so much. And yesterday I was reading an article about explosiveness, which is actually a pretty tricky situation where this one guy, it was a very interesting article, and he said that sport-specific training on explosiveness is kind of tricky. And science or the research is not as clear. There are studies that contradict each other when it comes to how should I train for explosiveness. Very interesting stuff, but I'm not a strength coach, or I'm not coaching athletes, so I'm not as knowledgeable in that area. So now, guys, we have 14 people in chat. Awesome stuff. Let's see if we got some feedback. Oh, we got some comments, guys. I'm checking out the comments right now. Dean is saying, hi, Gregory. What's up, Dean? Rafael, buen día, mi amigo. What's up, brother? Rafael, hope you're doing fine. Alexia, hello, guys. Alexia, hope you're doing fine in London. Jakub Kutni, hello, freaks. Yeah, we we're the freak show, right? We're the crazy ones. Sometimes, guys, you have to imagine, sometimes when we're doing these workouts, I think we're crazy, because when sometimes I feel like, man, I'm drop the kettlebell, go home, because it's so taxing. And sometimes, and then you have to imagine, as a coach and on YouTube, we always want to put on a show. We always want to give you some entertainment. It's not that we're focused 100% on our workout. We have to use some additional energy to hype you guys up. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to going home, laying on the couch, watching the workout with Angie and Gypsy. And then I envisioned myself laying on the couch right in front of round 4 before we go all in and before we go crazy. It's crazy stuff. Dean saying, glad I followed Steve Carter, as that's what brought me to your site. I think, wow, awesome, Dean. So great that you found us through Steve. Steve is a legend. Steve Carter, I always say this, and I will say this in every podcast and in every situation, every chance that I get. Steve's visit to our gym in June 2019, where he certified us in CKT1 and CKT2 and the IKFF standards. This was the most pivotal moment of my coaching career and my career as a trainee, as somebody who just loves training with kettlebells. I extrapolated so much stuff from his teachings, and that's what I'm trying to now give to you guys as well. Jonathan, and hey, Rafael, you've been joining us for a pretty long time, right? You should consider joining the Kettlebell Club. Jonathan Frost, do you see any reason to use the hardstyle snatch or the Good Voice Sport corkscrew method better? Is the Good Voice Sport snatch? Now, this is always a tricky question, and I'm getting these comments. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, right? So I'm not against hardstyle. I'm not against it. If you enjoy this training, this hard style of training, do it. If it gives you value, do it. If you build a strong body, if you've reduced and eliminated back pain, do it by all means. And if you want to continue down this journey because you've identified this as your identity as a trainee, you just love that workout, you love that style, you love to go all in, you love that vibe, do it. When it comes to efficiency and the feeling, because I didn't do the hard style before I went into the sports stuff, before I was taught by Steve Carter. Before I probably followed some hard style routines, because understanding the Russian style is just nuanced. There's so many nuances to this stuff. And because the research is such a wasteland, you don't even have folks extrapolating and looking at that style in more detail. There's not enough research around for kettlebells in general. So how do you think? How much research is there for the sports style? And somebody even commented on one of our recent podcasts, and he said, "Hey man, you know why even in Russia we people or the government didn't pay attention or didn't invest money to scientifically understand kettlebells? Because it was the working class who chose kettlebells. Weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, this was the standard, the golden standard. This is where all the money went in. Not in the kettlebells. It was the working class who was doing kettlebells. And these clubs even formed in those groups and those working class, where the dudes were working in those factories, right? So I believe the sports style is more efficient, gives you more elegance, and you're able to work out with the kettlebell for longer time. And at the same time, it is probably, to my knowledge, and I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to history of kettlebell because I'm not Russian. I wasn't born in Russia. I don't know the ins and outs. But, you know, when you trace back where this whole stuff started, kettlebell competitions, the first competition I think was held, or the first organization that was recognized as an organization itself, was in the 1960s. So my opinion would be, my not that good informed opinion, just reading the stuff that I'm seeing online and hearing some stories, I would say that the Kettlebell sport, because Kettle means kettlebell, all right? The Kettlebell sport, the kettlebell sport was the original way of training with kettlebells. And the hard style developed through Pavel. That's his method of training. And I don't want to take anything away from it, but I just want to follow the originals because I think, you know, I want to go back to the roots. I want to see how this stuff started. And the great thing about the sport style, it is tricky to teach. It is not easy to teach. It takes a lot for folks to master the snatch, to master the clean, to master the rack rest position, to master the phases. It takes a lot, which I think it's awesome. I love it. It's like ballet. It's dancing with the kettlebell. And I love it. It takes so much effort, so much time, so much reps, so much passion, so much dedication, so much commitment to learn the sport style. Where I personally believe the hard style is easier to learn, and if that fits you, that's all good. That's fine. But of course, I'm biased. I believe the sport style is the best way to go. And at the same time, the other question would be, hey, I don't know how to do a snatch. Should I go with the hard style first or the sport style? I would say, yeah, try just the hard style version. Just bringing it up there if you want to do the snatch. And you don't have possibilities to learn the snatch in the Kettlebell sport style. Because it'll be easier for you to do. Because the sport snatch is so tricky. And at the same time, more efficient, more love. It's just, I love this style. So hence I believe it is the best style. And I stand for this. And I don't care what anybody else says. Ha 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 ha. Let's keep going. 17 people in the chat. Hey guys, where are you coming from? Hey, and don't forget guys, we are on the road to 10K. So if this is your first time here, you love kettlebells and you support that stuff and you like my voice, and even if you dislike my voice, we do a lot of live workouts where you don't have my voice as much. You hear Angie's voice as well. She has a very beautiful voice. And support us. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's keep going. Ooh, you guys are going crazy in the chat, huh? It's lit. Bluto. Hey, how you doing, Bluto? Brother, how you doing? Are you going to make future videos on sport-specific programming? Do you compete in the cycle? Bluto, I'm not. Because I don't think I am as... How can I say it? I don't think I have enough knowledge and enough coaching and enough even passion, I have to be honest with you, to teach specific sport programming, like, for example, Denis Vasilyev does. Bluto, if you're really looking for somebody who can really help you, please go to Denis Vasilyev. Denis Vasilyev now offers online coaching. I will choose one of these sessions for me as well in the near future. He offers online coaching sessions, and I believe he's the best to do it. Globally, his technique is clean, and almost everybody agrees that Denis is number one when it comes to technique. And he's also a very humble dude. And as far as I know, following him on Instagram and his socials, and his teaching is solid. I learned a lot from him. So that's the reason why I don't even compete. So if I'm not competing, how am I supposed to teach other athletes? I can teach you the basics, of course, and I can teach you the way. I think I got it down pat a little bit. Of course, I can always be better, and I can always improve as a coach, which I want to. And I don't want to put myself on a pedestal, like on a pedestal with Dennis. Of course not. So my passion is teaching it to beginners and teaching it to folks who just want to lift with the kettlebell and lose weight, get stronger, and get in shape. So this is not my passion, teaching athletes. And this is something, it's digressing a little bit, but this is something that we've learned from precision nutrition. As a coach, you have to find your identity. And once you found it, you want to pursue it. Doesn't mean that your identity cannot change a little bit, but you have to find your identity. And we could put it in other words, you have to find your niche. And our niche is teaching beginners the kettlebell who want to lose weight and get in shape. And somebody asked me even this, do you want to compete? And so the last snatch, I had a snatch session with the 20. I went pretty fast. And, I'm playing with the thought. The thought just crossed my mind. But I was talking to Angie. I'm not an athlete. I don't have the mindset of an athlete. Don't get it confused and don't twist it. I have the grinding mentality. I have that mindset to grind and go all in and go for it. But I have it in a different area. For example, I have it in my business, in my coaching and helping people, and in building up this YouTube channel, for example. So my question would be, since time is a limited resource, I would have to think, do I want to invest in the time that is needed to become, for example, to achieve the master of sports rank? This is like a black belt in kettlebells. And I have to admit, this is kind of intriguing to me. And I think with the CKT2 test, I've mastered the what is it? Level 3, I think, in the sports ranking. You have the master of sport, then you have the master of sport elite, I think, and I think I'm in the bottom, the last one that I was able, because I was able to do 40 jerks and 100 snatches with 220 kilos and 120 kilo at the snatch. So yeah, I think that puts me in that category. So you have to have the mindset of an athlete, and you have to want to grind like an athlete. And so, like I said, time is a limited resource. So I would have to think, hey, do I want to invest my time into getting the black belt in kettlebell training? And that would take time away from other stuff as well. So I'm just thinking out loud. Also, I don't always see you twisting on the backswing. Are you doing that based on the weight or reps? What do you think? Twisting the wrist? Because it depends. I think I'm always now in almost any swing, I'm using the back grip because it's so relaxing for my forearm and my bicep, because the elbow's able to relax and the elbow's able to flex once you're in the backswing position. So I think in the swing, I'm using it 90% of the time. And sometimes I'm getting tired. And this is something that Steve Carter taught me. The power of those different grips is, when you have the front grip, is you use more your forearm muscles and your biceps. Once you go into a horizontal plane, then you use more of your shoulder and triceps. And once you switch it completely into the back grip, you use more triceps. And maybe since I have genetically a very strong triceps, I think this is where my body tends to work with, because I'm using my strongest asset in that case. And in the snatch, I think I'm always doing the back grip. I'm always twisting it. And yeah, and if you talk about my whole body twisting, in the snatch, I'm using this diagonal plane, but in the swing, in a normal swing, I'm not. So you see all these different aspects. This is what I love about this stuff. And guys, please, you don't have to think that you have to emulate my style. Try to find out what works for you, and stuff that works for you, keep it, and stuff that doesn't work for you, discard it. 70 people in the chat, guys. You guys are lit. Anivana saying, hello, Lebe. You do cool videos. Thanks. You're welcome. Is USI dipped kettlebell okay? Oof. Can you clarify? What does it mean, USI dipped kettlebell? If you can clarify it, I'm doing my best to answer it. Jonathan Frost saying, Bluto answering to Jonathan Frost, I implement both styles. Yeah, and see, that's a question that you have to ask yourself. If you want to implement both styles, go ahead and do it. If you like it, if you found passion for both, do it. Longto, that's the beauty of the kettlebell fitness. Always room to get better. Word up. Bluto, Gregory, do you incorporate hard style and anatomical breathing movements for targeting power aspect? I'm particularly using the hard style swing and snatch on some days for explosiveness. And Bluto, this is something, let's go a little further. No, Bluto, this is something that I just mentioned recently, just quick on this one. I read some scientific articles about explosiveness, and it's kind of it's contradicting. So the genetic the genetic component plays a huge role when it comes to explosiveness. And I think the sport-specific training, just the specific training that you do in your field. For example, if a football player wants to have more explosiveness, you work on this on the field. I don't think, this is what research is contradicting itself, that you can train explosiveness as perfectly. Even though there's another study that says if you have somebody who's very talented, very highly developed, and has a perfect fitting anatomy and genetics for a specific sport, then they will respond to this training just perfectly. So it's just, you see, it's so tricky. And since I'm not a strength coach, and since the science is a little mixed in that session, I don't particularly see the value in using an explosive movement to develop explosive force, or just doing swings explosively to develop explosive force, because first of all, I don't need it. That's probably one thing. And the second aspect is, like I mentioned, the science is a little mixed. At the same time, I'm not as informed in that area. So if somebody's in the chat, or if somebody want to correct me in the comments, or if somebody has great valuable insight, please share it, because I'm always open to listen what even good strength coaches are saying and what the science is saying. And the breathing, I use this power breathing. I always use this kind of breathing where you working your lungs and your diaphragm like a pump. This where you use this sharp breathing, and this high intensity breathing creates this pump effect, so that the used air goes out and new air comes in almost at the same time. And I use this power breathing method. When you watch our live workouts, I'm using it every time. And I'm using this power breathing method also as a means of a metronome, as a tempo. And maybe we're talking about the same thing, because I'm not familiar with the breathing of the heart style. Bluto saying, I think Rudnev is using the ONNIT just for the art. Yep, I think as well. Last question. Do you know about juggling sport? Are you proficient at it? At any plans on implementing stuff like juggling in later videos? I'm not proficient at the juggling. What I can do is just some basic flips and some helicopters, and that's it. And I even stopped juggling. I just started to implement it a little bit on my routines, and then I found out I'm just, I'm gravitating back to the basics, because I just want to. I look at what Dennis is doing, and Dennis's technique is so awesome and so clean. This is where I want to go, and I know to form the perfect habit, I need to invest thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of reps, and I'm committed to it. So that's probably a reason why I'm not digressing too much from the basics, because I love them and I want to get better at them. And so that's probably one of the reasons why you won't see a lot of that stuff implemented in my videos, because I want to talk about what I know. I don't want to talk about stuff, maybe just a short one, or a short little, mentioning the aspect of juggling or doing it once, but I wouldn't be the perfect person to teach it. There's other people who do it way better. Rafael, trying to jump from the 15 kilo to the 20 kilo, but I don't feel secure and comfortable to try the jerks. I will continue working with 15 kilo till I lose till you're not scared anymore. Your videos and tips are helping me a lot. Thank you. You're welcome, brother. And you're actually doing the best way you're doing it the best way possible. Just listen to your body, and if you're still scared of a weight, a good coach can take away that fear and can give you some confidence, especially if your coach is watching you and he's saying, listen, your technique, because I do this as well, your technique is so good. Go and grab the 16. Stop with the 12 and now go and grab the 16, and always put it down if you don't feel like it, but you can do it. And then you get that bump of motivation, and then you suddenly see a small light to overcome that fear and you give it a shot, a small shot, still not going overboard with it, but just trying to implement it with the heavier weight, then you're good to go. If you're on your own, always choose lighter weight before advancing to heavier stuff if you're not sure. Because if you have a 15 kilo, the jump is 5 kilo. Normally would be probably a 16, and then the 20 is normally in 4 kilo jumps. But in your case, it's 5. Yeah, take your time and really take your time as long as you have to. Alexia, I'm using the Mirafit ones because they're small and I can work with them better, but the 16 ones have a thicker handle and I have a small hand. You're not using competition kettlebells, Alexia? That's interesting. Or are they? I don't think they are, because if you say they're smaller and that they're changing in the diameters, then it's probably just standard kettlebells. If you do fine with them, that's totally cool and that's totally fine. And at the same time, maybe I can get you to think about it. If you use competition kettlebells, they're all the same size and just different weights. So that just the handle doesn't change, maybe just slightly because, you know, it's production. But the handle, the diameter, the size doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the weight, and that will make it very, very easy for you. Hey man, I'm talking so long now. I'm switching to the full view, guys. That will make it very, very easy for you to adapt adapt to the weight, because the technique will stay the same, because the diameter and the size of the kettlebell stays the same. That's one of the biggest advantages of the competition kettlebell, and that's why we always recommend it. Then Jose prefers the Wolverson ones. Me too, before the deadlifts, where there's so many different brands, and I don't even know them all. I just know I would make really the distinction between standards, where the kettlebell is smaller and gets bigger in size and diameter once the kettlebell gets heavier, and the competition, which we advocate, who don't change in size yet change in weights. Ash, have you formally trained in the hard style as well? No, not formally, and I wasn't even taught in the hard style. I think I did some of it. I know I did some because I was watching those videos and I tried to implement that form before Steve visited us, and it was cool. But when I started with Steve, I think, yeah, like I said, I'm biased because when Steve visited us, he shared so much value and it made so much sense. And I think I mentioned this in one of our recent podcasts. I said the reason why I didn't choose RKC, or back then it was RKC Dragon Door, and now it's Strong First. And the reason why I chose the IKFF and Steve Carter is because I liked Steve's philosophy suits my personality and my identity as a coach better than Pavel's. Desert Stars, what's up, bro? From Denver, Colorado, sending you love. Do you follow American football? I see a lot of NFL athletes using kettlebells as part of their off-season training, which I think is awesome. See, the kettlebell is so versatile, and we see many athletes using, even in soccer now, which is more popular in Europe. People are starting to choose kettlebells more often because it just works the whole body and it has so many benefits. And it's just using the body as an integral unit. It's just integrating the unit in itself. And I don't follow NFL as closely, just some bits here and there. And at the same time, I think it's awesome that the kettlebells are finding their way into all different areas. We were recently asked to do a seminar next year for our local police force, for our law enforcement. So isn't that cool that the kettlebell is finding its way into these different areas, and it's such a powerful tool. I can't stop rejoicing about it. Bluto, yeah. I will love to learn from Vasiliev directly. Plus, I replicate his technique and I learn a lot. In a nutshell, you really need weights like 10 kilo, 14 kilo for sticking to his program, so that's an issue. Oh, okay. You can't just choose the 16 or the 12. I'm not familiar with this. But yeah, it's probably even worth the investment, Bluto, because, you know, working with Vasiliev is probably one of the best things that you can do if you want to compete as an athlete. Also, very reasonable point on explosiveness. I'll look more into it. Yeah, do it. If you find anything, Bluto, please share it with us. You can share it on any video because it's such an interesting topic. Alexia, the beauty of the kettlebells is that they give you plenty of room to play with them once you master the technique. Word up. I love the versatility and how well they can integrate into different kind of workouts. That's what's up. And Longtoes and Alexia, you're on point. You can tailor workouts for sport specifics or individual goals. That's what's up. And Longtoe, what I think is interesting, and this is where I'm kind of, because it ties into what Bluto now said about the explosiveness. The question is, if explosiveness cannot be trained per se with explosive movements, because there is some research that says explosive movements is not something that even ushers in a higher calorie burn. I can't remember the study because somebody said it in a commented that, the hard style of an explosive F, blah, blah. And then I went into this, I looked at the study, and I think I wrote it down somewhere, but it would take too much of my time or of your time to find it now and dig it out. But what I want to say is, if research is contradicting about explosiveness and using training or using a tool or an exercise, the question will be, is there even sport-specific training needed? And I'm not saying that an athlete shouldn't work out or become stronger, because a recent study that I read was also interesting. Said there were similar results, no huge difference between the one group that used some explosive plyometrics and the other group that used some slow traditional strength training stuff. So the question remains, is it necessary? Or where I tend to be more, where I lean to, I'm gravitating towards the fact that, hey, if you are an athlete, let's say you're a very talented soccer player, and you would come into my gym and you say, hey, my coach told me to do some sport-specific work. What I would say is, brother, you know what we're doing? Or sister, if it's a she, I would say, listen, what we do is just build some basic strength and integrate your body as a whole unit. Make your body and your neuromuscular system, make it all work together more efficiently. And then we can build up your heart rate. We make your heart stronger. We improve your coordination. We maybe eliminate with some mobility and some stretching. We eliminate maybe some problems because we had this experience. One joined, he was a younger soccer athlete, and then he joined for a few sessions, and he said, I'm always having cramps in my hamstrings as soon as I'm off to start, because he's incredibly explosive and he's very fast, but he always has cramps in his hams and his glutes. And then we started to do some mobility work, and come to find out, once he got into the position where we stretched the hamstrings, he almost died. He said it's so tight, and I said that's maybe the reason why you're getting those cramps, because the hamstring is already pulling so hard on your hip and your tibia. There's so much force already exerting, and once you start going off like crazy and you pull off, and your hamstring has to use additional force, and because it's explosive and very strong, this tension just explodes, and then here comes the cramps. So I would choose this route and say, and anything else, dribbling, going faster, working your reflexes, and working, I don't know, whatever techniques that you have to do on the field. This is what you do on the field with your coach on the field. What you do with me is just building strength that you can use and utilize once you're on the field. So this is where I'm coming from. And at the same time, I'm always open. If somebody is showing evidence, or strength coaches that say, listen, this really works and they have proof and science backs it up, I'm always open. I'm just gravitating towards that idea. So that's why I'm asking, is sport-specific training with a certain tool even necessary or useful? And the other question, like I mentioned before, just to touch it on a quick one, if you have an athlete that's very highly gifted and he is biologically and anatomically and genetically made for that stuff, you can let this person do anything and they will succeed because they're so highly gifted. Alexa says, yes, we have different types of kettlebells here, and I've tried them all. That's awesome. That's awesome. And go with the one that makes the most fun. Bluto, I think the kettlebell diameter of 35 millimeters, yeah, change to 32. I'm not entirely sure on this. Interesting. Maybe. You know, what I'm seeing is the differences in the handles. This is what I'm seeing because I have a larger hand, I would say, and at the same time, I prefer smaller handles. And you see it in the competitions that we bought from Mega Fitness, the original Russian kettlebells. You see it sometimes. There's one handle that's a little thicker, and it's maybe just a few millimeters, but you all already feel it. And there's the ones that are a little thinner, and I like the ones that are thinner because they work better with my grip. And yeah, let's see. Do you know you hit 1 million views already? Yes, Jakub. We knew this, and we posted it. Do you even follow us on our Instagram on Lebe Stark? Because if you would have seen it. Just joking. Yes, we hit 1 million views, guys. So, and we're on the brink of 10,000 subscribers. So we're grinding. We're grinding, guys. I love Bluto. I love your mobility routines. Do you do stuff like controlled articular rotations for stabilization? Oof. What is a controlled articular rotation? Do you think just some dynamic mobility, stuff like this? Because actually, I have to be honest, it's the first time I'm hearing from this. I'm just doing dynamic. I put it into two categories. The one category is the more static mobility, where I go down to a stretch, hold it for a few seconds, and then I keep going. And then it's more the dynamic work of mobility. This is the stuff that Steve does in our YouTube live workouts. And I think that's what you're talking about. Just rotating your shoulder blades, and then, twisting your body, doing some stuff with your neck, and then, really doing good stuff with your shoulders, and then working the hips, and always in dynamic moving. So I saw this great contrast between my way of mobilizing my body and Steve's, which mine is more static, his is more dynamic. And now what I do is I combine it. And I think a good mobility routine is so necessary, because if you work with the kettlebell for a longer time and you do a lot of workouts, and if you join us in these crazy lockdown sessions right now, then you want to have some good mobility, and always make sure that you're warmed up, because you don't want to hurt yourself or injure yourself. Alexia saying mobility is one of the most forgotten parts of the fitness world, I think. Now that I'm 41, I've started to pay more attention to it, especially after I've been told I have arthritis in my left knee. Alexia, this is something I wouldn't even say, well, I'm in the fitness world, so I see it firsthand, maybe a little bit more, because I'm seeing all these sources. There was a movement or a time, I don't think if it's still like that, I've stopped paying attention to it. There was a movement when personal trainers were almost, going into the field of becoming physiotherapists, where, you do stuff with clients that physiotherapists do. And we follow not a no touch, but we follow a least touch philosophy in our gym. Doesn't mean that sometimes maybe you just have to be careful with how you point or how you show things to clients. Right now, we can come close to any client at all. But at the same time, we are following the philosophy to just maybe, if we are allowed to come a little closer, just, with the fist or with the finger, not, just giving some small cues, some small physical cues. But at the very least, mostly it's talking and cueing and letting people find out on themselves without having to touch them. And mobility is something, I don't even know why I said that. I just lost my, yeah. And now I'm back at it again. And this route that personal trainers were taking into the physiotherapy realm was touching clients at spots and places where I thought this is not what a personal trainer is supposed to do, especially if you are a man. If you are a man touching female clients, and we see statistics that about 55 or 60% of people who pay for coaching are women. And we have about 80% of women in our gym, and I'm really, I don't want to touch them, because the personal trainer in itself has such a bad reputation. If you Google how does a personal trainer, the next thing that follows is how does a personal trainer fall in love with me? How crazy is that? On autocomplete. And so we want to stay as professional as possible and don't touch people, because I believe, or touch them, only if necessary, because I believe the physiotherapist has this part. This is not my part. And this is where the whole fitness industry, I don't know if it's still that way, but they moved into that area of physiotherapy. And I moved out of it. And at the same time, I've realized through some good coaching that mobility is key for very, very, very many situations when it comes to training with free weights, especially training with ballistics. Just one example. If you go into the overhead top fixation, right? Or you have the kettlebell overhead, if it is a snatch, or you do an overhead squat or a press, right? You got an overhead top fixation, arm is close to your ear, and your thumb is pointing back. Now we have people who have real problems with this. First of all, we have some shoulder problems. Some people have shoulder mobility problems. So they're not able to get the arm that up high, or they get it up here and it tilts forward, which is not bad per se. There's always a little room. If it tilts a little forward, it's okay. But sometimes it's a mobility issue when it tilts forward pretty too much, so that it interferes with the exercise. And then the second question is, a lot of people have problems with extending their arms because their biceps is so tight and the triceps is so weak. So it's a problem with extending the arm. And then the last aspect is always, when you have problem with the shoulder, there's always probably some trouble with the chest and with the minor part, with the smaller part of the pectoralis, which is attached right here and goes down to your rib cage, and then it almost pulls forward. Or even the bigger one, which attaches on your humerus down to your rib cage, down to your sternum, which can also pull in, because we work like this. So we have a lot of mobility issues. And the last thing is your lats. If you have your arms straight up like this, your lats, your back is getting a good stretch. And we have people who have really tight lats. And these tight lats are many times they are responsible as well for back problems, for back pain. So hence it is important to loosen those areas, to loosen the lats, loosen the chest, loosen the hips, loosen the shoulders before we want to go into working with load. And I got this saying, or this statement, this philosophy from functional movement systems. They say, move well and then move often. And I modified this phrase by saying, move well with your body only before moving often under load. So yeah, mobility is a key issue. And Bluto, it's not dynamic, but I think a bit like slow, controlled protraction, depression, retraction, stuff like that. It's part of kin stretch and functional range conditioning. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I do believe in that stuff as long as it mobilizes the shoulder. Yeah, that's I believe that's good stuff. And at the same time, I don't go as deep into it because I believe just rotating the shoulder works the cuff and works the shoulder blade and the humerus and the mobility in the shoulder as well. And sometimes we even, this is digressing a little bit, but sometimes we even have people who don't have the triggering or the neuromuscular power to trigger the muscles here. So when we do shoulder rotations, what they do is they rotate the whole arm because they have to start differentiating those different joints. This is so interesting stuff. I could talk about it for hours. And I think this is a long podcast. Now I got to stop, guys. But you guys are lit in the chat. Bluto, are you solely using just kettlebells? Do you do any hypertrophy sessions with other weights, a strength workout done with Olympic barbells? Right now, I'm just using solely kettlebells. What I do on my regular routine is I always incorporate, after my workouts, I always incorporate either some conditioning with a heavy prowler sled, some prowler push and prowler pull stuff, or what I do most of the time is a few sets of push-ups and pull-ups. I love that combo. And hypertrophy sessions, I used to do them regularly earlier. I mean, I used to do them for 10 years straight, for a decade. I used to do the strength training method, the traditional strength training with hypertrophy, focusing on muscle building only. I did this for many, many years. And then the kettlebell is just, when I switched to the kettlebell, it was a breath of fresh air, invigorating my workout routines. And now I'm seeing that my body looks the same and even leaner, and I believe it's more muscular, more defined. Probably because I shed some fat, it looks more muscular now. Of course, I lost some muscle because when I look at my hypertrophy days, I was pretty bulky. And now I think I'm more athletic and my body loves it. And I think that's where I want to be and that's where I want to stay. And but that doesn't take away from the fact that hypertrophy sessions can be awesome, because back when COVID hit really extremely hard, I did some hypertrophy sessions in my gym, and then I did one particular hypertrophy session in the other gym where I have another membership. This is the one luxury that I'm offering myself, is I have an additional membership in one of our gyms locally. And when I visit that gym, I'm just doing barbells and free weights and just machines only, like back in the days, because I still love it. I still dig it. It's still effective. It's still good stuff. At the same time, I just think, and that's what I'm talking about in this new video that I got coming up that you guys really have to watch. It's a good one. I think most people, it's not made for most people. I think most people need stuff that they can do at home, and they need something that integrates the whole body. They need something that attacks back pain. They need something that burns calories and burns fat, and they need something to build muscle. And this is what the kettlebell does. So, guys, the chat was lit. I'm having, let me see, guys. How many questions? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 questions left. Getting tired a little bit, but hey, if you want to keep it going, guys, we keep it going because I want to finish this. If the chat was lit, that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot, guys. Just know this. I sponsored today's video of Lebe. In the back you see my friend Igor. We are both hunting for good kettlebell channels. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Lebe YouTube channel. Or else, comrade, we can't consider you to be a true student of the art of kettlebell training. So yeah, you heard him, guys. You got it. You got to subscribe to the channel because we are on the road to 10K, and it would be just so beautiful if you would support us. Now let's go through these final questions, and then we're done, guys. I think this is the longest podcast I've ever done, but it's awesome. So guys, so awesome that you guys are joining. Now, hey Gregory, I would love to hear your take on chalking kettlebells. Yeah, because that was in the title, so I got to talk about it. Take on chalking kettlebells. I just got my first competition kettlebell, and I've seen a lot of people online that build up a layer of chalk on the bell handle. I can't tell in your videos whether you use chalk or not. Thoughts? We do use chalk once the weight gets heavier, because you don't want to experience a sweaty kettlebell, a kettlebell in sweaty hands. I've experienced this once, and I don't want to experience it again, because it feels every time on the drop. Doesn't matter if it's a clean going from the rack into the backswing, or from the top fixation from the snatch into a backswing down. Doesn't matter. It always feels like the kettlebell falls out of your hands immediately in the next second. And the only thing that you're putting your focus on is trying to catch the kettlebell. So that's crazy stuff. So I think if you advance in your form, you won't have to use chalk on every weight. I use chalk on 24, 28, and 32 because it gives me additional support. And it's good to increase friction so that the kettlebell really, really sticks to your hand. At the same time, you have to always consider the fact that it's bad for your skin. It really is bad for your skin. So I wouldn't chalk it all the way up and use it every time. I would only use it if I go heavy and I do a really intense set and I want to challenge myself. Then I'm using some chalk. And even if you advance and you get better, and chalk, your hands will adapt to it. And even then, using chalk, your hands won't get that many blisters and cuts. However, the heavier the weight, the higher the chances that you will get some cuts and some blisters. So using some layer of chalks on the bell handle, this is what you do when you have extremely sweaty hands. We have one of our clients, her hands eat up that stuff. It's like the pores open and then the chalk gets swallowed in by those pores. It's so crazy, and she even says it herself. She's like, wow, I'm using so much chalk. How is this possible? So she has very, very, very sweaty hands. And what we do is we chalk her hands first, and then we put a layer of chalk on the handle. So once the chalk is off on her hands, she still has some chalk on the handle, which is great stuff. I can tell you another thing from one of our academy students, what he's doing. He's actually got a small, like he does it like the rock climbers. He got a small bag and the back of or on his back attached, and then he's working, and once he has to use some chalk, he goes into that bag to get some chalk. So he's using that technique. So technique and using chalk always depends on context. Don't use it so often if you don't want to destroy your skin, but if you want to go heavy, use it. Hey man, I like your stuff. Is it possible to be a personal trainer with IKFF certification only? And if no, what certification is needed before IKFF? I think this is a question, the personal trainer is not a protected profession, at least in Switzerland. You can call yourself a personal trainer almost immediately. If you decide you want to call yourself a personal trainer, then you are, and nobody can say anything about it. That's it. So you don't need any certification, at least in Switzerland. I think in the States it's the same, or wherever you are from, brother, where you asked the question. It's universal. It's not a protected profession where you have to do certain certifications so you can wear that title, so to speak. Now, what I would advise you, even though you don't need certifications, what I would advise you is find your niche, find your passion, where you're good at. For example, if you love barbells and you want to get a good certification, consider starting strength, for example. If you are highly interested in nutrition, which I think a personal trainer almost should be, then I would recommend precision nutrition. I did both coachings, both levels 1 and 2, and I can't explain. I can't put it in words what I've learned from these guys. It's just mind-boggling and life-changing, and it elevated the business to a spot where nobody can even come close to it, because we're using this awesome coaching methodology from Precision Nutrition. So, and then if you're passionate about kettlebells, do IKFF, do Strong First. Just do certificates, not so you can wear the title, but do certificates so you can get the knowledge. That's the idea. Do it for yourself. Improve your knowledge. Improve what you know. Get better at what you know so you can help people better. It's so interesting. I used to think back in the days when I was a little younger, I used to think what's mostly important when you want to advance in the business or corporate world is you have to have a certificate. You have to have that sheet of paper so you can do it. You just do that education, that additional education, so you can walk into your boss's office, smash that sheet of paper on the table, say, hey boss, I did this education, now I want higher pay. I used to think that the system works like this until I've realized it's not about the sheet of paper. It's about the value that you bring to the table. So you do it, not for the sheet of paper. You do it, you get the knowledge, and of course you get the sheet of paper, and of course you can hang it on the wall. We do this as well. We let folks know what we did. We have a wall of fame over there. But what you do is you acquire that knowledge. You go back to work. You prove to your boss, or you prove to your business, or you prove to yourself, if you're self-employed, that you're worth more, that the market now says, okay, Gregory, you're now worth more money because you're able to handle that stuff better. You add more value to the client. Clients are talking about you much more. More people want to book you. You have created a niche. You are the best. You are number one in that niche, so therefore the value grows. I can tell you from experience, when people walk in, they look at the results and they look at who we are, they watch our videos, and most people watch our videos they come to us and they say like, I trust you 100%. Even though I didn't had a phone call with you, I'm gonna do this coaching with you because I saw who you are through those videos. And it's hard to keep up a facade that long, let me tell you. So they come in, they don't even look at the wall of fame. They don't, because they don't care about the education and the certificates. They only care about the value. But those certificates are the ones that bring you value, or that offer you that knowledge so you can increase your value. All right? I hope I was able to help you with this one. I'm almost 61. I just do long cycle clean and jerk 3 times a week, sometimes once a week. I do the classic single arm half snatch instead of the long cycle. I always do them for time with 16 kilo competition kettlebells. Awesome. I feel great. No pains or aches. It may be different for others. I agree with you totally that it's a matter of context. And he said this in response to the video that I did for kettlebells can be dangerous in context. And depending on who you are, can kettlebells be bad for you? Yeah, if you don't use the right, in a nutshell, yeah, if you don't have the right technique, if you don't have the right information, they can be bad for you. And at the same time, if you lack coordination, and if you're maybe 70 plus, 75 plus, I see with my father, he's 80 plus, and he won't do a lot of kettlebell stuff because he's not able to, which is totally fine. We can do other basic stuff which does which is awesome and does him a lot of good. And at the same time, maybe some people are at a certain age or have a certain limitation where certain ballistic exercises, maybe some stuff with the kettlebell cannot be done, and that's totally fine. I totally love your videos and those routines. May I ask you a question? What do you think about kettlebell complexes? Are you familiar with them? Would you recommend them as a workout for busy days at work? Thanks a lot. Now I had somebody commented on one of our videos with Funk Roberts where he said, because I think a kettlebell complex is when you do one exercise, when you choose multiple exercises, for example, a deadlift, a row, and a clean, and you use it as one exercise. This is a kettlebell complex to me. And he said in the comment, no, that's probably a kettlebell flow. I would say a kettlebell flow is a whole style of training. And I would even put these 3 categories. We have hard style, we have sports style, and we have flows. So for me, it's more like a category of a style, but it's semantics. So kettlebell complex is just doing these different kettlebell exercises, doing many kettlebell exercises at one, using a large range of exercises, using a huge selection to get the workout done. Where I did this one reaction on Funk Roberts Kettlebell Chaos, which is an awesome workout, but there are many exercises involved which can be tricky and confusing because you have to think about so much stuff. And so that's my answer to them. I don't use these complexes as much. And a funny story, on Saturday, or I think it was Friday, we did a live workout on Friday with one of those special complexes. We did some special stuff. We did some push-ups and then some rows, and then we did some, I can't even remember them. What have we done? Some other exercises where we combine 2 swings and then the squat, which is cool. But then in the workout, I saw that Angel's doing something else, and while I'm working out, I'm like, baby, you're doing it differently. And she's like, well, we said alternating. No, we said it was it's one thing. So you don't hear this conversation, but we should put a mic right between us so you can hear what we sometimes talk about. It's so funny. and then after the workout, I was like, you see how tricky these complexes sometimes are? And I really remember how I had to focus my energy in, okay, now it's 5 push-ups, and then it's 5, it's blah, blah, and counting, and blah, blah. Angie, now you count. Now I'm counting, blah, 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 blah. And so it's more taxing for the brain because you have to think more. And then I told her, now I'm looking forward to go back to the basics and for the full time method because it's so easy. So especially when it's busy days, I would recommend using the 4 time method, because if your brain is almost pounding so hard that it's breaking out of your skull, then do some workouts who are very, very easy to do. Gregory, do you think the ONNIT Primal? Yeah, we did this one. We already talked about it. And I think this is it, guys. We still have 14 people in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Man, I really love these sessions. And we got some more comments, and then I think we're done for today. Tony Butterworth saying, how long should I train before moving up to the weight to the next bell size? 12, 14. Thanks. What I can tell you, Tony, is when we talk about increases in the 4 kilograms, I'm always talking about 4 kilograms because I'm using competitions only. 4 kilograms, I would advise you 5 minutes per exercise. Once you manage this, jump up to the next one. What do I mean, to clarify? 5 minutes of swings. If you're able to manage 5 minutes of swings with the 12 kilo, jump up to the 16. If you're able to manage 5 minutes of clean and presses or clean and jerk or clean and straight press, I don't care, with one arm only, unbroken, without switching the arm, with the 16 or with the 12, upgrade to the 16 or to the 20 respectively. If you're able to do 5 minutes of snatches with one arm, because that's the sports style method, one arm without switching with one weight, with the 12 kilo, you're able to manage it, switch up to the 16. Now, if you talk about 2 kilogram increments, I would maybe say you can halve this. If you're able to do 2.5 minutes of swings with the 12 kilo, jump up to the 14. If you're able to manage 2.5 minutes of work with one arm, with the clean and press, or the snatch, jump up to the 14. And always listen to your body. Rafael said this earlier. He said, I'm still too scared of the heavier weight. Listen to your body. If there's still fear around where you think, I'm not sure, listen to your body. Always go with the lighter weight until you feel more comfortable and stronger and you want to tackle the heavier one and this fear subsides. Bluto, yeah, stay flexible and eclectic to be the best. Yes, thanks, Greg. You're welcome, brother. Thank you, Gregory. Alexia, you're welcome. Longto, thank you. You're welcome. Uncle Phil, thank you. Great, Uncle Phil, so awesome that you're joining. Covered a lot of ground tonight. Love to the Kettlebell crew tuning in. Yeah. Sending love to you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, we covered a lot of ground. You guys will see some more videos. I'm always doing these podcast bits. I know, guys, and one of our subscribers, I really like him. We had some awesome comments and conversations in the comment section, and he said sometimes I'm spamming his feed, which I totally understand. Sometimes we're spamming your feed because we're putting so much content out right now. And I really want to apologize if we are spamming your feed, because recently we released 3 videos per day because I'm cutting these live sessions apart, taking some bits out of it, like the Joe Rogan podcast. And recently we released 3 videos per day, which is crazy, right? But we have so much material. And I saw that these small portions are very cool for people to watch, because not everybody wants to watch a almost 2-hour podcast now. So that's the reason why we're doing these many videos. So if we spam your feed a little bit, we're sorry. There will be a time where we probably decrease the amount of uploads. But right now, we're going all in. Now lockdowns are coming in Switzerland as well. So we're going all in with YouTube, guys. We're going full throttle because we want to reach those 10K subscribers by the end of this year. Maybe we can make it. And if this channel gave you some value, please share it with your friends, and maybe they consider the subscribers so we can hit the 10K until the end of 2020. And thank you so much for joining, guys. I love you guys. So awesome to hang out with you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the stream, leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more kettlebell content and more live workouts. If you want to financially support our YouTube channel, you can join the Kettlebell Club. There's a join button right below this video. It'll cost you only $5.95 and you will be mentioned in our live streams. And you will get a small LS logo right next to your name whenever you comment something. So that way people will know that you belong to the tribe. If you want to take it a step even further and you want to work out from home without any ad breaks, you can check out our 30 days of kettlebells workout course. I'm clicking on my 30 days of kettlebells course. On your left hand corner, you have all the chapters and the lessons. All these workouts are divided into chapters and into lessons. Right here it says, welcome to 30 days of kettlebells. We have some important information, blah, blah. So then when you're ready, you can click on continue and boom, you're switching into your first workout and it already starts. So here you got your first workout. As you can see, when we scroll down, you can see here is the description for the workout. No ads, no ad break. Okay, it's just the workout and you. You see the exercises, you see what you have to do. 30 Days of Kettlebells is an intense workout program that builds you up as a beginner without prior knowledge. That's what we specialize in. From now on, you will receive one of the following tasks each day for the next 30 days. You have a workout. So if a card pops up that says workout, here you will be tasked to work out. Simple. If a card pops up that says rest on your day 2 you saw previously, we believe that regeneration is also as important as working out. On these days, you can rest. Then we move on, you have cards that pop up that say rest and study. Here you can rest and you can study a specific topic that we'll cover in this lesson. And finally, you have some cards that pop up that say rest or workout. What that means is you can either work out if you feel like it, or you can take a break. It's only $49.99, so if you want to support us, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support our kettlebell courses, and if you want to enjoy something ad-free and learn something new and get a deeper understanding of the kettlebell and get a deep connection to us, then feel free to buy this course and have fun.